I analyzed over 100 fights. These are 20 ways to land the calf kick every time that are proven to work. Technique number 1 is hitting your opponent whilst they are moving left, right, forward, or even backwards. For example, in the Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway fight, where Ilia Topuria hit Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski whilst they are moving out or circling to the side with the jab. Okay, this is one example. But we have also a lot of fight examples where people maybe are moving backwards and you hit them whilst they're moving backwards, or people that are moving to the side and you just hit them. This is, for example, really effective on the ropes when you want to cut somebody off from escaping the ropes. You just hit them wherever they move on the calf. Technique number 2 is what I call the Carlos Prates grab, because I just saw this in the fight against JDM. Carlos Prates also used this for knees, okay? Grabbing both hands, no strikes incoming because you grab the hands. They cannot punch. You can manipulate the balance with this. And again, the focus of the opponent is on the hands. So Carlos Prates goes to the body with a knee, or again, Carlos Prates even kicks the leg with this technique, okay? Technique number 3 is using the calf kick in mid-exchange situations, or as well as a counter punch, or better to say counter kick. One thing that Yuki Yosa, for example, does, and we're going to break down Yuki Yosa later in this video completely how he lands his calf kicks. Although yes, he lost against Haggerty, he still hurt his calf, and he's still one of the best calf kickers in kickboxing, no doubt about that. But Yuki Yosa often wants to bait his opponents in, and then whilst they are moving in, whilst they are even heavy on their legs, he's just throwing the calf kick, okay? It could be a basic jab. Your opponent is just moving in with a jab, okay? Closing the distance with a jab. Then on this situation, on this moment, throw a calf kick. For example, we see this in the Ilia Topuria fight, where Max steps in with a jab and Ilia Topuria fires out the counter calf kick. Okay, this is just one example. And I mean, there are countless of other fight examples about this. Just persons, when they are moving in, when they want to exchange, just throwing this calf kick as a counter to their punches. Technique number 4 is a really basic technique, but just what you see most of the time when you are watching people that land calf kicks is just a feint or a punch to the head, okay? Just setting it up with a punch or with a feint. So you raise their guard, and then you make them heavy on their legs. So we see that in countless of fights where people are just baiting them, throwing a lot of feints, and then you can just hit the calf. Again, the direction of their focus is now led to the head, confuse them, and then you can set up the calf kick. So guys, now let's analyze Yuki Yosa. And again guys, we still have 16 more ways to set up the calf kick, and this Yuki Yosa breakdown is not even a part of them. So let's now look at this. So how Yuki Yosa baits people in the range is most of the time he literally just walks with his guard up, okay, to them. He just presses forward. He just walks forward. He has a really good guard, so incoming shots are easily blocked there. But when somebody just pressures you, when somebody just moves you back and moves you back, maybe you have like a bit of fear. Oh no, now I'm going to hit the ropes. Let's move forward. Or again, it's just normal. You want to then just move forward when somebody just presses you back. So you want to move forward, and because of this, Yuki Yosa will then throw the calf kick when you want to move forward. We have a lot of fight examples where this happens, okay? And then the calf kick lands because they want to come forward. And there's a great video of boring breakdowns, great YouTube channel, when you want to learn about Yuki Yosa and even other fighters, even wrestling, I think. But great channel, and he had a great analogy that when somebody comes up to you with a big smile and wants to shake your hands, you're going to move forward and shake the hands also. And this applies to this. Somebody comes forward to you, then you want to come forward as well, and then the calf kick lands. What he also does sometimes is he sometimes gets under the guard of the opponent, then uses his frame to push them away, and whilst he's pushing them away, he's throwing the calf kick, okay? Really interesting setup as well. What also makes this calf kick so effective is stance switching. For example, when the opponent is angling off to the right, Yuki Yosa stands orthodox, then he will switch into the southpaw stance, and then he can hit the inside leg with a low kick, for example, and the calf, okay? Just one example of how Yuki Yosa switches his stance to hit the legs. Pretty interesting technique. This is purely for MMA, but it is just using the calf kick as a counter for the takedown. We have a few fight examples on this, not a lot, but I just wanted to include this because this is pretty interesting. You need to be quick with this. If you're fighting somebody like Khamzat Chimaev, always picking people that lost. I don't know. If you fight somebody like Islam Makhachev, you know, it's pretty hard to hit a calf kick. You know, they will then grab your leg. But it's just an interesting way because you can still land this, and you see in this example that it sometimes works, you know. So I mean, again, it would not work against the best of best wrestlers or people that are really having the pressure, but it can still sometimes work. And I just wanted to include this here as a fun one. Not saying this is 100% guaranteed, but let's continue. Technique number 6 is inside calf kicks. So I wanted to talk about inside calf kicks. And by the way, guys, in a second, we're also going to break down Alex Pereira and how he's going to throw those calf kicks. And those techniques also not included here in those 20 techniques. So a lot of bonus here. But let's talk about calf kicks, inside calf kicks. And these are a bit more dangerous, so really, really be cautious, because when you look at the shin, you see that inside calf kicks hit on the part where there's a lot of shin. So, you know, this is where the shin is the biggest. I don't know if that's right, but, you know, inside calf kicks are dangerous. So definitely do not throw them dry. Do not throw them without a setup, because they do not need to move a lot. They do not need to move a lot, just a bit to the right, and then you hit their, shin. So that's not good. Now, you can use this again whilst somebody is jabbing around, you know, so again, like the Ilya with Max Holloway example, but now you just throw to the inside. And where those inside calf kicks are, of course, the most effective, sometimes on southpaw versus orthodox matchups, okay? The inside is more exposed and easier to hit when you have a southpaw versus orthodox matchup. In general, the setups are pretty much the same, just a lot more caution, please. Thank you. And one technique that I find quite interesting to land the inside calf kick is really ingraining it in your opponent that you're going to angle off to the right or to the left side, depending on the stance, of course. But you're angling off the whole time. Maybe you're angling off with a hook. Maybe you're angling off with a cross, whatever. You just angle off to the side, and then suddenly you throw a calf kick whilst you're angling off. In the same motion, whilst you're angling off to the side, you're then going to throw the calf kick with a step over. You step over, and then you're throwing the calf kick whilst circling off, whilst wanting to move out. And guys, if you want more on those inside calf kicks, a great fight is Yotin versus Jaila. I'm going to put it in the description if you want to learn more about calf kicks, okay? Technique number 7 is hitting the calf multiple times. So basically, this is not really a setup, but it is just something that will destroy your opponent. And it is a setup because there are a lot of setups in there. I'm just going to play a few here that you can see those setups and copy them in your next sparring session. Let's talk about technique number 8, and this is nothing. It is just no setup. Technique number 8 is throwing the calf kick without a setup. Again, guys, super caution, please. Super caution. Like the inside calf kick, you can break your leg. It does not work a lot. It's really risky, but again, still we see people like Alex Pereira throwing it without a setup a lot of times. See people like Yuki Yosa throwing it without a setup. Some more ways to set up the no setup. I know it's confusing, is when you again suddenly explode, like we talked about Yuki Yosa, so you just suddenly explode forward. Sometimes people do not have the reaction time to defend there. And when you're fast, and when you have that range, okay, when you can deceive people, that's also another way, that you are out of range, okay, so you have your body a bit more back. You maybe do the Canelo thing, where you step first with the back leg, so they cannot see that you're stepping in, and then the front leg comes, so you can deceive people that you're out of range, and then you just suddenly explode. You close the distance fast. You really drill to be fast with closing distance. And you're so close that it hits fast, you know, you're fast. And then sometimes people just cannot block. So that's also a great way to use it. And Pereira also has 2 things to land the calf kick without a setup. Going to talk about them in a second. Now let's talk about technique number 1. And this is high kick to calf kick or low kick to calf kick. So you basically just, again, get the focus on something else, and then you come to the calf kick. So just drill that to be fast. You hit the high kick with the left leg, then you hit the calf kick with the left leg, okay? So you're just fast. Or you use the high kick and then you hit the calf, or you step over, you circle off again, and then you hit the calf kick. Also quite effective setup. Technique number 10 is what I described a bit earlier, is when people plant their legs. So you see a lot of people, their stance is really heavy. They really have heavy legs, okay? Like all of the weight is on their legs. Okay, you see that a lot of times. I have a few examples here what it means to have like all of the weight on their legs. But again, people move in, their weight is most of the time on the leg. But sometimes people just have that stance, or people do mistakes that make them heavy on their legs. Okay, so use that to your advantage. Technique number 11 is really close range calf kicks. A lot of people know that calf kicks do not need to be close like a low kick, because you do not need to turn your hips, but you can turn it around and just throw them really close. You see that a lot again with Yukiyosa. So pushing them away, shoving them away, and being really close. But you can sometimes just do it whilst you're really close, like in the pocket stuff, and kind of like Max Holloway's spinning back kick that is so close. But sometimes it just irritates your opponent when you throw it in a way or in a range that they do not expect it, okay? And when you're like in the pocket, like guard on guard, and you maybe manipulate a bit, you maybe even do a bit of clinch, but of course you do not want to be too much in the clinch. You cannot throw the calf kick, but you do that and then you push back a bit, or you like create a bit of distance to draw the calf kick or frame and stuff, and this will just confuse them as well. Technique number 12 is when the calf is hurt, go to the head. When the calf is hurt, you can also use this to knock people out to the head. That's just one of the basic ways again. Calf is hurt, no, I'm scared, you know. The calf is hurt, then just go to the head. I had this a lot of times, like in sparring, where I was there and there was somebody that just hit me so hard to the leg. And then I was just worried about the calf, because I just wanted the pain to end. I just wanted to kind of block it. I didn't know how. And so I did not have one single focus on the head. You know, anybody could have knocked me out. Every shot would have landed. And this is just one key thing here. When the calf is hurt, go to the head. When the head is hurt, or when they are scared on the head, then go to the calf. That's just the logic here. Technique number 13 is after a low kick or a high kick. So you block it. You block the high kick, maybe with a Dutch block or other things, and then you instantly fire out the calf kick again. It is simple, it is really simple, but it works so many times in highest level of kickboxing. And it does not just work with a calf kick, of course, it also works when you block a high kick and you fire your own high kick. It works when you block a high kick and fire your own low kick. It blocks when you block a low kick and fire your own high kick. Stuff like this just works. So let's just talk about Alex Pereira for a minute. Now, in an interview with Izzy's trainer, he said that Alex Pereira does not have a lot of preemptive movement. So that's just a fancy word. It literally just means he doesn't telegraph. You just don't see when he's throwing, you know. Just look at Alex Pereira calf kick. Just look at his calf kick and you just see there's not a lot of movement. There's no turning of the hips. There's not nothing. There's not even a big step. It's just, you know, there's nothing. It's just that kick. There's no movement. It doesn't telegraph. And so again, when you do not have that preemptive movement, when you just throw it out, literally like a soccer, there's no movement. And so it's hard to block. It's hard to see when it comes, you know. And what he also does is just less power. Okay, so he kind of uses the calf kick sometimes like a jab, okay? Literally like a jab, like a lot of times. He's throwing this a lot of volume of the calf kick. And even though they're not throwing hard, they're not being hard, it still hurts because the damage just moves up and moves up. And the calf kick is a kick that you do not need to throw that hard to hurt opponents. That's why he can do it more without a setup, because it's just less power and it's just no preemptive movement, no telegraphing. And that is just what makes it really, really effective. Technique number 14 is the turbo step, or just basically a step to the outside. It's just named after Ross Turbo Levine, but it's just basically just the step to the outside, you know. And it's really useful when people block and they turn off their shin. So you hit their shin, you just step out, step to the outside, use that step, and then again you hit the calf because you are now on an angle and you do not hit the shin anymore. So when you have a lot of people that block your calf kicks, use the step to the outside, use the step that you see here that is displayed, use this technique, and then you can hit the calf. Again, you can set this up with a 2 or a hook, for example, in that, and to disguise it even more. Technique number 15 is when you have somebody bouncing their leg, okay? So when you have the Thai fighter style. I saw it a few times. When Thai fighters bounce their leg, you know, it's most of the time used to block, but more like the high block where they like put out their knees and stuff to block a high kick, for example, or a body kick. I saw it in fights where people did that, and whilst they did that, whilst they bounced their leg and it went to the air, people hit it, or whilst it came to the ground, people hit it. So this is also, sometimes when you have that, try it out, be creative, and maybe try to hit their leg whilst they're bouncing leg, whilst it comes up, or whilst it comes down. But again, with Thai fighters, they are quick to block, okay? They're quick to block on this leg, and this way they are doing this. That's why they are bouncing their leg. And another interesting technique is a 1-2, okay? So you just prep your opponents with the 1-2, you prep your opponents with the 1-2, and then you use the 2 to switch to stand switch, okay? Use the 2 to stand switch, and then you hit the calf kick, okay? Technique number 19, again, another setup here from Valtellini. I just watched the video where he explained setups, and I just wanted to include them here. Again, if you want to watch the full video, it's in the description. But Valtellini also used the 1-2-1, step to the side, and then the second one, then he's stepping to the side with that, okay? So he's bringing their guard up, again, just with the 1-2-1, getting a lot of focus on their guard, a lot of focus on their head, 3-punch combination, and then he's just stepping to the side. Again, we are working a lot with steps to the side because this is just really effective. Technique number 19 is a shuffle calf kick. And that's what I call it. I do not know if a lot of people would identify it as a shuffle calf kick, but it's basically when you, again, you're an orthodox, for example, and then you shuffle over, you step over with the back leg, and now you're in southpaw stance and you hit the calf kick, okay? See a great example here. Again, Valtellini, but bring the back leg forward, step forward with the back leg, and then you again throw the calf kick. Quick way to close the distance. So technique number 20 is stepping back to bait them in. Now this is not like Yukiosa where he steps forward and forward and forward that they come forward. Now you step back and bait them in. So how I want you to use this is, again, it's pretty simple. It is just your opponent hurts you, and you are you're not really running. Again, you do not want judges to see this and stuff, but you're just sometimes just stepping back, and your opponent thinks, oh, he's stepping back the whole time I enter, you know, he's stepping back the whole time I enter. Now let's just chase him. Now let's just go for him. Now let's just go to him, you know? And then whilst he's moving in, again, we have talked about this 1,000 times in this video, you hit the calf, okay? So you step back, you step back, you step back a few times, you know, you let him feel safe whilst he's entering. Suddenly he's going to have a lot of pain in his calf, and he's going to limp for a week. I need to definitely end this video, guys. I don't know, I have a dry, my throat is dry from all of the speaking, 40 minutes, longest video I've ever recorded. Guys, I see you back soon for another video.